Hi, hello, welcome back to i-TUTOR NCERT series. In today's class, we are going to discussing Class 10 Geography NCERT, Chapter 6, Manufacturing Industries. Okay, so let's begin. Production of goods in large quantities after possession from raw materials to more valuable product is called manufacturing. So, what is manufacturing? What is called manufacturing? It is the production of goods in large quantities after processing from raw materials to more valuable product. Okay, so it's a production of goods from goods in a large quantities, and it's after processing from raw materials to more valuable product. So this process is called manufacturing. People employed in the secondary activities manufacture the primary materials into finished goods. Okay, so we know the secondary activity, that is mainly known as manufacturing industries or industrial activities. So in this, the people employed in this sector, they manufacture the primary materials. Okay, so they manufacture the primary material into finished goods. Okay, so this is called secondary sector, okay, or the manufacturing sector. The workers employed in steel factories, car, breweries, textile industries, bakeries, etc. fall into these categories. Some people are employed in providing services. Okay, so we know there are three types of industries, okay, or three types of activities. First one is primary activity or primary sector. Then second one is secondary sector or manufacturing sector, and the third one is service sector. Okay, so there are also some people are employed in the service sector. The economic strength of a country is measured by the developing manufacturing industries. Okay, development of manufacturing industries. So, if you consider the economic strength of a country, first we should measure the development of the manufacturing industries in that country. Okay, so that is the importance of manufacturing industries in a economy or in a developing country. Now, importance of manufacturing. Manufacturing sector is considered as the backbone of development in general and economic development in particular. Okay, so in general it is considered as the backbone of development. Okay, and also in the economic development. Okay, it is particular mainly because first reason, manufacturing industries not only help in modernizing agriculture, which forms the backbone of our economy, they also reduces the heavy dependence of people on agricultural income by providing them jobs in secondary and tertiary sector. Okay, so the manufacturing industries provide jobs. Okay, they provide jobs in secondary and tertiary sectors to people. Next one is industrial development is a precondition for eradication of unemployment and poverty from our country. Okay, so we know industrial development is a precondition for the eradication of unemployment and poverty, but this was the main philosophy behind public sector industries and the joint sector venture in India. It was also aimed at bringing down regional disparities by establishing industries in tribal and backward areas. Okay, so it aimed to bring down the regional disparity. Okay, bring down the regional disparity. How? By establishing industries in tribal and backward areas. Okay, so they established industries in the tribal as well as in the backward areas. So it can bring down the regional disparities. Next one is export of manufactured goods expand trade and commerce. Okay, so the expansion of trade and commerce, and it brings in much needed foreign exchange. Okay, so this also increases in the international relation, okay, of a country. Then countries that transform the raw materials into a wide variety of furnished goods of higher value are prosperous. India's prosperity lies in increasing and diversifying its manufacturing industries as quickly as possible. So these are some of the main reasons or some of the important causes for the causes why the manufacturing sector is considered as the backbone of development. Now, agriculture and industry are not exclusive of each other. They move hand in hand. Okay, so we know agriculture and industry, they are not exclusive of each other. They move hand in hand. For instance, the agro industries in India have given a major boost to agriculture by raising its productivity. They depend on the latter for raw materials and sell their products such as irrigation pumps, fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, plastic and PVC pipes, machine and tools, etc. to farmers. Okay, so they provide products like irrigation pumps, fertilizers, insecticides, PVC pipes, machines, etc. to the farmers. Thus, the development and competitiveness of manufacturing industry has not only assisted agriculturists in increasing their production, but also made the production process very efficient. Okay, so the development and competitiveness of manufacturing industries not only assist the agriculturists, but also it can increase the production, or it can increase the efficiency of the production. Now, in the present day world of globalization, our industry needs to be more efficient and competitive. Self-sufficiency alone is not enough. Our manufactured goods must be at par in quality with those in the international market. Only then we will be able to compete in the international market. So we should increase or we should make the quality of our products very much higher, because we know today the globalization causes very much increases in the production not only in India, in many countries. So if you want to compete with other countries, our production and our quality of the product is very much high in the international market. So only then we will be able to compete in the market. Okay. Now, contribution of industry to national economy. Over the last 2 decades, the share of manufacturing sector has stagnated at 17% of the GDP out of a total of 27% of the industry, which include 10% for mining, quarrying, electricity and gases. So this is not the this is from the 2001 census. Okay, not the current situation. This is before 10-20 years before. Okay, this is much lower in comparison to some East Asian economies, where it is 25 to 35%. The trend of growth rate in manufacturing over the last decade has been around 7% per annum. So the numbers are changed today. So you should look at the current affairs. Now, the desired growth rate over the next decade is 12%. Since 2003, manufacturing is once again growing at the rate of 9 to 10% per annum. With appropriate policy interventions by the government and renewed efforts by the industry to improve productivity, economists predict that manufacturing can achieve its target over the next decade. The National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council, that is NMCC, has been set up with this objective. Okay, so National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council, that is NMCC. Next, industrial location. Industrial locations are complex in nature. These are influenced by availability of raw materials, labor, capital, power and market. Okay, so the industries are, or industrial locations are mainly influenced by the availability of raw material, labor, capital, power and market. It is rarely possible to find all these factors available at one place. Consequently, manufacturing activity tends to locate at the most appropriate place where all the factors of industrial locations are either available or can be arranged at lower cost. Okay, so at least it's either available or can be arranged at a lower cost. After an industrial activity starts, urbanization follows. Sometimes industries are located in or near the cities. Thus, industrialization and urbanization go hand in hand. Cities provide markets and also provide services such as banking, insurance, transport, labor, consultant and financial advice. Many industries tend to come together to make use of advantages offered by the urban centers known as agglomeration economies. Okay, so this is known as agglomeration economies. Gradually, a large industrial agglomeration takes place. In the pre-independence period, most manufacturing units were located in places from the point of view of overseas trade such as Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, etc. Consequently, there emerged certain pockets of industrially developed urban centers surrounded by the huge agriculture rural hinterland. Okay, so consequently, they emerged certain pockets of industrially developed urban centers surrounded by a huge agriculture rural hinterland. The key to decision of the factory location in the least cost. Government policies and specialized labor also influence the location of industries. Okay, so the government policies and specialized labor, they are also influence the location of industry. Now, classification of industries. Industries may be classified as follows. First one, on the basis of source of raw materials used. Okay, source of raw material used. First one is agro-based. What is agro-based? Cotton, woolen, jute, silk textile, rubber and sugar, tea, coffee, edible oil. So if the raw materials are these types of, that is cotton, woolen, jute, etc. So then it is called agro-based industries. Then next one is mineral-based industries. What is mineral-based industries? If the raw materials are iron and steel, cement, aluminium, machine, tools, petrochemicals. So if the raw materials are these things, then it is called mineral-based industries. Okay, so the first classification is on the basis of raw materials. Okay, source of raw materials used. Second, according to their main role. Okay, basic or key industries which supply their products or raw materials to manufacture other goods. Example, iron and steel are steel and copper smelting, aluminium smelting. Okay, so these are key industries which supply their products or raw materials to manufacturing other goods. Next one is consumer industries. Okay, that produce goods for direct use by consumers. Okay, consumer industries are they produce goods for direct use by consumers. Example, sugar, toothpaste, paper, sewing machines, fans, etc. So these are consumer industries. Okay, so according to their main role, industries can be classified into two types. First, basic or key industries, which are supply their products or raw materials to manufacture other goods. Okay, so that is called basic industries or key industries. Then second one is consumer industries. What is that? They produce goods for direct use by consumer. Okay. Next, on the basis of capital investment. Third one is capital investment. A small-scale industry is defined with a reference to the maximum investment allowed on the asset of unit. This limit has changed over a period of time. At present, the maximum investment allowed is rupees 1 crore. If investment is more than 1 crore, any industry, then it is known as a large-scale industry. Okay, so if the investment is more than 1 crore, then it is called a large-scale industry. That is the basis of capital investment. Next, fourth one is on the basis of ownership. So there are 4 types of ownership. First one, public sector, private sector, joint sector and cooperative sector. What is public sector? It's owned and operated by government agencies. Okay, example BHEL, SAIL. Okay, so these are examples for public sector manufacturing, okay, or public sector industries. Second one, private sector. So private sector industries owned and operated by individuals or a group of individuals. Okay, so they are operated by individuals or a group of individuals. Example, Tisco, Bajaj Auto Limited, Dabur Industries. So these are examples for the private sector industries. Okay. Next one is joint sector. Okay, so here which are jointly run by the state and the individuals or a group of individuals. Okay, so in public sector owned by government, private sector owned by individuals or group of individuals, joint sector is jointly run by state and individuals. Okay, or state and a group of individuals. Example, Oil India Limited is jointly owned by public and private sector. Next one is cooperative sector. These sector industries are owned and operated by the producers or suppliers of raw materials or workers or both. Okay, so in cooperation. So in this sector, they operated by producers or suppliers of raw materials, then workers or both. They pool in the resources and share the profit or losses proportionately, such as the sugar industry in Maharashtra, the coir industry in Kerala. So these are examples of cooperative sector. Okay, the coir industry in Kerala and the sugar industry in Maharashtra are examples for the cooperative sector. Now, based on the bulk and weight of raw materials and finished goods. This is 5th classification, right? Yes, 5th classification. Heavy industries such as iron and steel. Okay, so there is heavy industries and light industries. What is heavy industries? They are example of iron and steel. Okay, so these are heavy industries. Then light industries use light raw materials. Heavy industries use heavy raw materials. Okay, here they use light raw materials and produce light goods such as electrical industries. Then paint, brushes, automobiles. So these are example for light industries. Okay. Now, agro-based industries. What is agro-based industries? The cotton, jute, silk, woolen textiles, sugar and edible oil, etc. These industries are based on agriculture raw materials. Okay, so if the industry is based on the agriculture raw materials, okay, if the industry is based on the agriculture raw materials, then it is called agro-based industries. First, let's discuss about textile industry. The textile industry occupies unique position in the Indian economy because it contributes significantly to industrial production, that is 14%, and employment generation 35 million person directly, the second largest after agriculture. Okay, so the first one is agriculture and the second largest, that is people working is in the textile industry. Okay, that is 35 million persons. And also foreign exchange earnings, that is 24.6%. Okay, so that's why this industry is that much important. Okay, so textile industry is very much important because of the industrial production, employment generation and the foreign exchange earning. It contributes 4% towards the GDP. It is the only industry in the country which is self-reliant and completely in value chain, that is from raw materials to the highest value added products. Now, cotton textile. In ancient India, cotton textiles were produced with hand spinning and handloom weaving techniques. After the 18th century, power looms came into use. Our traditional industries suffered a setback during the colonial period because they could not compete with the mill-made cloth from England. Today, there are nearly 1,600 cotton and human-made fiber textile mills in the country. About 80% of these are in the private sector. Okay, so about 80% of these are in the private sector and the rest in the public and the cooperative sector. Apart from this, there are several thousand small factories with the 4 to 10 looms. Okay. In the early years, the cotton textile industry was concentrated in the cotton growing belt of Maharashtra and Gujarat. Availability of raw cotton, market, transport including accessibility port facilities, labor, moist climate, etc. contributed towards its localization. This industry has close links with agriculture and provides a living to farmers, cotton ball pluckers and workers engaged in ginning, spinning, weaving, dyeing, designing, packing, tailoring and sewing. The industry by creating demands support many other industries such as chemical and dyes, mill stores, packaging materials and engineering work. Okay, so the textile industry also helps other industries such as the chemicals and dyes, mill stores, packing materials and engineering works. Now, while spinning continues to be centralized in Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, weaving is highly decentralized to provide scope for incorporation traditional skills and design of weaving in cotton, silk, saree, embroidery, etc. India has world-class production in spinning. Okay, so India has the world-class production in spinning, but weaving supplies low quality of fabric as it cannot use much of the high-quality yarn produced in the country. Weaving is done by handloom, power loom, and in mills. The handspun khadi provides large-scale employment to weavers in their homes as a cottage industry. India export yarn to Japan. Other importers of cotton goods from India are the USA, UK, Russia, France, East European countries, Nepal, Singapore, Sri Lanka and African countries. So these are some important countries which import cotton from India. India has the second largest installed capacity of spindles in the world next to China at around 34 million. Since this is the 2003-2004 period. Okay, this is in the 2003-2004 period. It have a lot of change today. Since the mid-80s, the spinning sector have received a lot of attention. We have a large share in the world trade of cotton yarn, accounting for 1/4 of the total trade. However, our trade in garments is only 4% of the world's total. Our spinning mills are competitive at the global level and capable of using all the fibers we produced. The weaving, knitting, and processing units cannot use much of the high quality yarn that is produced in the country. There are some large and modern factories in these segments, but most of the production is in fragmented small units which cater the local market. This mismatch is a major drawback for the industry. As a result, many of our spinners export cotton yarn while apparel garments manufacturers have to import fabric. Although we have made a significant increase in the production of good quality long staple cotton, that is 92.32 lakh bales in 2004-2005. The need to improve is still felt. Power supply is erratic and machinery needs to be upgraded in the weighing and processing sector in particular. Other problems are the low output of labor and the stiff competition with the synthetic fiber industry. Okay. Now, jute textiles. India is the largest producer of raw jute and jute goods and stands at the second place as an exporter after Bangladesh. There are about 70 jute mills in India. Most of these are located in the West Bengal, mainly along the banks of Hooghly River in a narrow belt. Factors responsible for the location in Hooghly basins are first, proximity of the jute producing areas, inexpensive water transport, support by a good network of railway system, roadways and also waterways, then abundant water for processing raw jute, cheap labor from West Bengal and adjoining states, that is Bihar, Orissa and Uttar Pradesh. Kolkata has a large urban center providing banking, insurance and port facilities for export of jute goods. So these are some of the important factors which are responsible for the location of jute textiles in Hooghly Basin. Now, the jute industry supports 2.61 lakh workers directly. Sorry for that. Okay, let's continue. The jute industry support 2.61 lakh workers directly and another 40 lakh small and marginal farmers who are engaged in the cultivation of jute and mesta. Many more people are associated indirectly. Challenges faced by the industry include stiff competition in the international market from synthetic substitute and from other competitors like Bangladesh, Brazil, Philippines, Egypt and Thailand. However, the internal demand has been on the increase due to the government policy of mandatory use of jute packaging. Okay, so the government policy of mandatory use of jute packing which can increase the internal demand of the jute. To stimulate demand, the products need to be diversified. In 2005, National Jute Policy was formulated with the objective of increasing productivity, improving quality, ensuring good prices to the jute farmers and enhancing the yield per hectare. The main markets are USA, Canada, Russia, United Arab Republic, then UK, Australia. Okay. The growing global concern for environment-friendly, biodegradable materials has once again opened the opportunity for jute products. Now, sugar industry. India stands second as the world producer of sugar but occupies the first place in the production of gur and khansari. Okay, so these are the raw materials which are used for producing sugar. The raw materials used in the industry is bulky and a haulage is success content reduces. There are over 460 sugar mills in the country spread over UP, Bihar, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Gujarat, along with Punjab, Haryana and Madhya Pradesh. 60% mills are in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. The industry is seasonal in nature, so it's ideally suited to cooperative sector. Okay, so mainly the sugar industry is ideally for cooperative sector. In recent years, there is tendency for the mills to shift from concentrated in the southern and western states, especially in Maharashtra. This is because the cane produced here has a higher sucrose content. Okay, so Thus, cane produced in Maharashtra have a higher sucrose content, which is essential for sugar industry. Okay. Now, the cooler climate also ensure a longer crushing season. Moreover, the operatives are more successful in this stage. Major challenges including the seasonal nature of the industry, old and inefficient methods of production, transport delays in reaching cane to factories, and the need to maximize the use of bagages. Okay, so these are some of the challenges. What are these? First one, seasonal nature of the industry, old and inefficient methods of production, transport delay in reaching cane to factories, and the need to maximize the use of baggage. Next, mineral-based industries. Industries that use mineral and metal as raw materials are called mineral-based industries. So, in these industries, they use mineral and metals as the raw materials. First one is iron and steel industry. The iron and steel industry is the basic industry since all other industries, that is heavy, medium and light, depend on it for their machinery. Steel is needed to manufacture a variety of engineering goods, construction materials, defense, medical, telephonic, scientific equipment and a variety of consumer goods. So in these all things we need steel as a raw material. Production and consumption of steel is often regarded as the index of the country's development. Iron and steel is heavy industry because all the raw materials as well as finished goods are heavy and bulky, entailing heavy transportation cost. Iron ore, coking coal and limestone are required in the ratio of approximately 4:2:1. Then some quantities of manganese are also required to harden the steel. Remember, the finished product also need an efficient transport network for the distribution to the markets and consumers. Today, with 32.8 million tons of steel production, India ranks 9th among the world's crude steel producers. So this is a 2002, 2003 and 2004 period. Okay, 2003, 2004 period. So this is not accurate now. There are some changes. In spite of large quantity of production of steel, per capita consumption per annum is only 32 kg. Now, all public sector undertaking markets their steel through Steel Authority of India Limited, that is SAIL, while TISCO market is it's produced through Tata Steel. In 1950s, China and India produced almost the same quantity of steel. Today, China is the largest producer. China is also the world's largest consumer of steel. 2004, India was the largest exporter of steel, which account for 2.25% of the global steel trade. Chota Nagpur Plateau region has the maximum concentration of iron and steel industries. It is largely because of the relative advantage of this region as the development of its industries. This includes the advantages are the first one, low cost of iron ore, high grade raw materials in proximity, cheap labor and vast growth potential in the home market. Though India is an important iron and steel producing country in the world, yet we are not able to perform to our full potential largely due to because high cost and limited availability of coking coal, lower productivity of labor, irregular supply of energy and poor infrastructure. So these are some negative factors which reduce the steel production. We also import good quality steel from other countries. However, the overall production of steel is sufficient to meet our domestic demand. Liberalization and foreign direct investment have given a boost to the industry. With efforts to private entrepreneurship, there is a need to allocate resources for research and development to produce steel more competitively. Okay, so that's about the steel industry. Next one is aluminum smelting. Aluminum smelting is the second most important metallurgical industry in India. It is light, resistant to corrosion, a good conductor of heat, malleable and becomes strong when it is mixed with other metals. Okay, so these are some of the important characteristics of aluminum. What is one? First one is it is light, then resistant to corrosion, a good conductor of heat, then is malleable and becomes strong when it is mixed with other metals. It is used to manufacture aircraft, utensils and wires. It has gained popularity as a substitute to steel, copper, zinc and lead in number of industries. Now, there are 8 aluminium smelting plants in the country located in Orissa, West Bengal, Kerala, Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu. In 2004, India produced over 600 million tons of aluminium. Okay, so in 2004, India produced over 600 million tons of aluminium. Now, bauxite, the raw materials used in the smelters, is a very bulky, dark reddish color rock. The flowchart given below shows the process of manufacturing of aluminium. Okay, so this shows the process of manufacture of aluminium. So bauxite is the ore. Now, next one is chemical industries. The chemical industry in India is fast growing and diversifying. It contributes approximately 3% of the GDP. It is the third largest in Asia and occupies the 12th position in the world in terms of size. Okay, so the chemical industry is third largest in the Asia and it occupies the 12th place in the world in terms of its size. It comprises both large and small scale manufacturing units. A rapid growth has been recorded in both inorganic and organic sectors. Inorganic chemicals include sulfuric acid, that is used to manufacture fertilizers, synthetic fibers, plastics, adhesives, paints, dyes, stuffs, etc. Then nitric acid, alkalis, soda ash and caustic soda. These industries are widely spread over the country. Organic chemicals include petrochemicals, which are used for the manufacturing of synthetic fiber, synthetic rubber, plastics, dyestuffs, drugs and pharmaceuticals. Organic chemical plants are located near oil refineries or petrochemical plants. Now, the chemical industry is its own large consumer. Basic chemicals undergo processing to further produce other chemicals that are used for industrial application, agriculture or directly for consumer market. Okay, so the basic chemicals are then again undergo processing to further produce other chemicals. Okay, so the basic chemical undergo to produce other chemical. Okay. Next one is fertilizer industry. The fertilizer industry is centered around the production of nitrogenous fertilizer, that is mainly urea, then phosphatic fertilizer and ammonium phosphate, and complex fertilizers which have a combination of nitrogen, phosphate and potash. The third, that is potash, is entirely important as the country does not have any reserves of commercially usable potash or potassium compound in any form. India is the third largest producer of nitrogenous fertilizers. There are 57 fertilizer units manufacturing nitrogenous and complex nitrogen fertilizers, 29 for urea and 9 for producing ammonium sulfate as a byproduct, and 68 other small units produced a single sulfur phosphate. At present, there are 10 public sector undertakings and 1 in cooperative sector, ASIRA, in Gujarat under the Fertilizer Corporation of India. Okay, so this is the Fertilizer Corporation of India. After the Green Revolution, the industry expanded to several other parts of the country. Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab and Kerala contribute towards half of the fertilizer production. Other significant producers are Andhra Pradesh, Orissa, Rajasthan, Bihar, Maharashtra, Assam, West Bengal, Goa, Delhi, Madhya Pradesh and Karnataka. Now, cement industry. Cement is essential for construction activity such as building houses, factories, bridges, roads, airports, dams. We know everything needs cement. It's essential compound. Now, this industry requires bulky and heavy raw materials like limestone, silica, alumina and gypsum. Coal and electric power are needed apart from rail transportation. The industry has strategically located plants in Gujarat and have suitable access to the market in the Gulf countries. The first cement plant is set up in Chennai in 1904. After independence, the industry expanded. Decontrol of prices and distribution since 1989 and other policy reforms led the cement industry to make a rapid stride in capacity, process, technology and production. There are 128 large plants and 332 mini cement plants in the country. India produces a variety of cement. Improvement in the quality has found the produce a readily available market in East Asia, Middle East, Africa and South Asia, apart from the large demand within the country. The industry is doing well in terms of production as well as export. Efforts are being made to generate adequate domestic demand and supply in order to sustain the industry. So that's about the cement industry. Next one is automobile industry. Automobiles provide vehicle for quick transport of goods, services and passengers. Trucks, buses, cars, motorcycles, scooters, three-wheelers and multi-utility vehicles are manufactured in India at various centers. After the liberalization, the coming of a new and contemporary models stimulated the demand of vehicle in the market, which led to the healthy growth of the industry, including passenger cars, two and three-wheelers. This industry had experienced a quantum jump in less than 15 years. Foreign direct investment brought in new technology and aligned the industry with the global development. So mainly the automobile industry industries are brought into the front by the foreign direct investment. Okay, so it helped very much important in the automobile industry because of the new technologies. The industry is located around Delhi, Gurugram, Mumbai, Pune, Chennai, Kolkata, Lucknow, Indore, Hyderabad, Jamshedpur and Bangalore. Next one is the important information technology and electronic industry. We know about the IT sector, the information technology and the electronic industry. Electronic industry covers a wide range of products from transistor sets to television, telephones, cellular telecom pages, telephone exchange, radars, computers and many other equipment required by the telecommunication industry. Bangalore has emerged as the electronic capital of India. Okay, so Bangalore is known as the electronic capital of India. Other important centers for electronic goods are Mumbai, Delhi, Hyderabad, Pune, Chennai, Kolkata, Lucknow and Coimbatore. 18 software technology parks provided single window service and high data communication facility to software experts. A major impact of the industry has been on employment generation. It is encouraging to know that 30% of the people employed in this sector are women. Okay, so the 30% of the people in the sectors are women. This industry has been major foreign exchange earner in the last 2 or 3 years because it is fast growing business processing or outsourcing sector. The continuing growth in the hardware and software is the key to success of IT industry in India. Now, industrial pollution and environmental degradation. Although industries contribute significantly to India's economic growth and development, the increase in pollution of land, water, air, noise and resulting degradation of environment that they have caused cannot be overlooked. Industries are responsible for 4 types of pollution, that is air pollution, water pollution, land pollution and noise pollution. The polluting industries also include thermal power plant. First one is air pollution. Air pollution is caused by the presence of high proportion of undesirable gases such as sulfur dioxide and carbon monoxide. Okay, so sulfur dioxide and carbon monoxide are some important gases. Okay, these are 2 important gases which are caused for the air pollution. Airborne particulate matters contain both solid and liquid particles like dust, sprays, mist and smoke. Smoke is emitted by chemical and paper factories, brick kilns, refineries and smelting plants, and burning of fossil fuel in a big and small factories that ignore pollution norms. Now, toxic gas leaks can be very harmless with long-term effects. Air pollution adversely affects human health, animals, plants, building and the atmosphere as a whole. Okay, so because of the air pollution, it is both harmful for the humans as well as the other organisms. Second one is water pollution. Water pollution is caused by organic and inorganic industrial waste and effluents discharged into water. The main culprits in this regard are paper, pulp, chemical, textile and dyeing, petroleum refineries, tanneries and electroplating industries that let out dyes, detergents, acids, salt and heavy metals like lead and mercury, pesticides, fertilizers, synthetic chemicals with carbon, plastic and rubber etc. into the water bodies. So they release these effluents or this waste into the water bodies. Fly ash, phosphogypsum and iron and steel slags are the major solid waste in India. The next one is thermal pollution. The thermal pollution of water occurs when hot water from factories and thermal plants is drained into rivers and ponds before cooling. Okay, so that is again cause for the water pollution also. Next one is, okay, the waste from nuclear power plants, nuclear and weapon producing facilities causes cancers, birth defects and miscarriages. Okay, soil and water pollution are closely related. Dumping of waste, especially glass, harmful chemicals, industrial effluents, packaging, salt and garbage renders the soil useless. Okay. Rainwater percolate to the soil carrying the pollutants to the ground, and the groundwater also get contaminated. Okay, when the rain happened, what happened? The rainwater percolate to the soil, that also carrying the pollutants, and also the groundwater became contaminated. Next one is noise pollution. Not only result in irritation and anger, it can also cause hearing impairment, increased heart rate and blood pressure among other physiological effects. Unwanted sound is an irritant and a source of stress. Industrial and constructive activities, machinery, factory equipments, generators, so the pneumatic and electric drills also make a lot of noise. So this causes the noise pollution. Now, how to control this environmental degradation? Control of environmental degradation. Every liter of wastewater discharged by our industry pollutes 8 times the quantity of fresh water. Now, some suggestions are: minimize use of water for processing by reusing and recycling it in 2 or more successive stages. Okay, so first one is reusing and recycling. Next, harvesting rainwater to meet water requirement. Okay, harvestment of rainwater harvesting. Next, treating hot water and effluents before releasing them to river ponds. Okay, so the treating hot water and effluents before releasing them in river and ponds. Treatment of industrial effluents can be done in 3 phases. That is, first one, primary treatment by mechanical means. This involves screening, grinding, flocculating and sedimentation. Okay, the first involves screening, grinding and flocculation and sedimentation. Secondary treatment by biological processes, and the tertiary treatment by biological, chemical and physical process. This involves recycle of the wastewater. Overdrawing of groundwater resources by industry, where there is a threat to groundwater resources, also need to be regulated legally. Particulate matter in the air can be reduced by fitting smokestacks to factories with electrostatics, precipitators, fabric filters, scrubbers and internal separators. Smoke can be reduced by using oil or gas instead of coal in factories. Okay, so we can reduce the smoke by using oil or gas instead of coal. Machinery and equipment can be used, and generators should be fitted with silencers. Almost all machinery can be redesigned to increase energy efficiency and reduce noise. Noise absorbing materials may be used apart from personal use of earplugs and earphones. The challenge of sustainable development requires integration of economic development with environmental concern. Okay, so the sustainable development requires the integration of economic development with environmental concern. So that's about the chapter. If you have any doubts, you can comment below. For more videos, do like, share, subscribe.